I'm Charlie, I'm 79, a little bit on the goofy side. I'm a dad, I'm a grandfather, I'm a husband. I stopped paying work in 2013, but I do a lot of work now around the house. And that I would say for a 79-year-old, I'm physically active and mentally in pretty good shape. I never made a YouTube video before. Probably my last dunk was somewhere around age 29 or 31. I did put one down in the early 80s, maybe 83, after a volleyball game, but it was a volleyball, so that doesn't really count. But that was probably the last time. This just seemed like kind of an interesting challenge to take on.
What gave you the idea to do this and why?
Well, I am a gym teacher for a group of homeschool co-op students. There's 22 in the class, and I got about 7 boys that play basketball, ranging from age 12 to 14. And 2 weeks ago, we did a standing vertical leap thing. It just, taped a yardstick to the backboard. Had a couple kids got 18 inches, which was pretty good. And at the very end, I did one. They said, look, it's about 11, which was kind of embarrassing for me. But I was giving the boys ideas on how to increase their vertical leap. Then I thought, at 79 years old, could I improve my vertical leap? The interviewer on this happens to be my grandson, Zach, kind of a famous dunker, said, you need to probably make a video, do this, and we'll make a YouTube thing. So here we are. When I was young, I could dunk. I could very rarely palm a basketball, so I had to get high enough to where I could just kind of flip it down. Running vertical, one-legged jumper was probably 35 to 36, maybe 36 and a half to get the ball down. Most of my attempts went off the back of the rim.
How tall were you when you first dunked, and how tall are you now?
I always heard that you were taller when you woke up in the morning. So last Thursday morning, I think, I measured my height pretty accurately using a square against a wall and on a wooden floor, 5'10 and a half. And I thought, not bad. I measured myself that afternoon, and I was 5'9 and a half. My first dunk, I was probably 5'10. Now, when I was growing up, not many guys could even grab the rim. I used to run and jump at the rim of my backyard, and I ran toward the garage. So the natural tendency was you'd go early and your peak was before I hit the rim. So we changed the fence around in the backyard, and I was able to run from what would be a baseline. We did not have a net on the rim at that time. And I purposely tried to go into the middle of the cylinder, and I grabbed the rim. It's like, whoa. Nobody there to see it. So I went down the street, got a buddy of mine who was a senior. I just gotten out of the 8th grade. Said, you got to see this, Wayne. I can grab the rim. So that was really kind of the goal. Can you grab the rim? Because nobody did that. And when I would play ball between games, I would always jump up and grab the rim. And people say, you can grab the rim? The other thing is, like a lot of little boys, I jumped at doorways. It just seemed like you walk through these doorways in your house and you want to jump. So I mean, the first time you hit it, you just tick it with your fingers, and I get in trouble. My mom would say, you're putting fingerprints on the door frame. Then you went from the door frame to the ceiling. And in our backyard, we had a hoop. It was touched the garage roof, the support for the basket, the backboard, the back of the rim, and the rim. That's kind of what it was. Our kids and our grandkids did the same thing. I'd say my overall physical condition is between good and very good. My health is good, or maybe not quite very good. I don't have any chronic conditions. I do have, I've got a partially torn rotator cuff, which means I can't throw a baseball or a football or a basketball as far. I went through PT. I'm surely not going to let anybody cut it up just so I can throw a football a little bit longer. I've only had 2 kind of problems in my life. I had prostate cancer in 12, so I went through 43 rounds of radiation. And like my brother who went right before me said, Steve said it was like a walk in the park, and it was. Going through it, I was tired, but I recovered from that. The other thing that I've got going on, but it doesn't affect me physically, which is really good. Last summer, I was in pretty good shape. I'd been working outside, I had lost some weight, and my resting heart rate was going down. It would normally be between 56 and 60, and it got down to like 52, and I thought, boy, I'm just in ripping shape. Then it got down into the high 40s. I thought, this isn't right. I felt fine. I would get a little bit gassed when I pushed a lawnmower. So I made an appointment with a cardiologist. I had never had my heart checked. The Friday before my Monday appointment, I'm a kind of a dorky guy. I chart everything. I had everything in a spreadsheet. I sent a message to the doctor and said, here's why I'm coming in. Here's some data on my resting heart rate, which was 38 at that point, and the nurse got right back to me and said, go to the ER. Of course, I think I'm fine. Went to the ER, got an EKG, and they said, well, you've got a complete block. Of course, I'm thinking I've got a blocked artery, which was what really scared me. So no, it's an electrical block. I have what's known as a complete AV block. That's what do? You get a pacemaker. So I have a pacemaker right about here, if you can see that, and it's just to make sure that my heartbeat does not go below 60 when I sleep. And I'm very active. I cut the grass. I do a lot of work around the house, a lot of home improvement stuff. enough. And my goal has always been to not let the number of an age affect the way I think. I work out just so I can still do things. I want to be able to go up and down ladders. I want to be able to lift tools, move a sheet of plywood around, cut down trees occasionally, cut the grass, shovel the walks, and do all that stuff.
With that being said, you work out now?
Yeah, I do. Normally 3 times a week, and it's all upper body. It's bench, wide grip pull downs from my shoulders, curls with the barbell, and normally some upright rows for the shoulders, but I don't do anything for my legs. And I figured as long as I'm cutting the grass, going up and down stairs, my legs are fine. And they are fine, but they're not fine for jumping very high. I don't think there are too many 79-year-old guys want to improve the vertical leap.
Yeah, you mentioned you see all these videos that you're looking at and they never take into consideration your age.
No, I learned to jump by jumping. I jumped at doorways, parking signs, anything, but I told the kids that I thought they could improve their vertical, and I never thought about it. So now I've got to come up with a way to at least try. And doing bench press is not going to do anything to my vertical. That's going to be the challenge. My legs are not weak, but before we did this video, we did a vertical leap test. I can jump, but I don't jump very high. So, getting 12,000 steps a day on a Fitbit and 10 or 12 flights of stairs, that's good for your normal stuff. But I can tell you, if anybody's listening to this, if there's 8 viewers, that probably at 79 is not going to help your vertical leap one bit.
So where does your vertical leap peak out at, and when did you start noticing its decline?
Well, to tell you the truth, I didn't measure it. I think once it got to the point where I couldn't maybe jump up and just slap the board, I just stopped jumping because it wasn't very impressive. If I could grab the rim at 70, I would be jumping and grabbing the rim at 70, And I still have dreams about dunking, which is really weird.
I see a picture of you dunking behind you. When was that? And tell us the story.
I'm thinking 1965. I had a Polaroid camera, and my brother and I decided to try to get a picture of me dunking. So Steve, who was a pretty good photographer, just said go, and then he would take a picture of what he thought was the right time. We shot 2 packs of film, and I think there was 16 pictures. They're somewhere in a box, I'm sure. And a lot of the shots, I'm on the way down, and the ball hit off the back of the rim, and it's going up in the air.
Do we know if that basketball slammed off the back of the rim, like you mentioned?
That one went down, and probably a couple other ones went down, but just missed it. If we'd had phones like we had then, I have a Facebook page with dunk
videos. 70,000 pictures on his camera.
Yeah, it would.
So what's the plan now moving forward?
Well, I'm not going to stop doing the regular stuff, the benches and the curls and all that, but I'm going to work on my legs. For the last couple weeks, I've been in the habit of when I go up a flight of stairs or down, I just do squats. I do 10 squats. So I might do between 50 and 100 a day, just so I could continue to get up and down. I've seen guys my age, they have a hard time getting up and down. I don't want that to happen. So I would say it's probably squats, jumps. I've watched a lot of videos, and they're always young people. There's one guy that does, I think he's knees over toes, but he's in his 30s and he dunks. Probably the oldest guy I've seen that has a program. And they do things like pogo jumps. I can elevate just a little bit, but that's very awkward, but I'll try to work into that. Just jumping, and then probably core exercises. And maybe the last part of the picture, because I do not want to get hurt. Look, I'm not some kind of a fitness freak. I don't want to hurt myself. All right, because I do want to be able to do everyday stuff. I think it's going to probably be squats with weights instead of just body weight. Jump with weights, maybe jump without it. And I think stretching is going to be a key because I don't want to hurt myself. And I'm pretty limber, but I'm still 79 years old, which is kind of hard to believe. And then we'll make other videos. If I blow a knee out, which I'm not trying to do, or hurt myself, that'll be the end. So I think there's more to come. We'll just do it from then. This will be my first YouTube video. I don't even know how to put it up. Well, I've got a producer here sitting on the other side of the desk. So that's it for today. We just say, as Spock would say, live long and prosper, right? Well, before you live long and prosper, let's do a vertical test to set a baseline to start this series.
It's a brisk 47 degrees, March 31st, 2025. We measured his standing reach. We taped it to the backboard. As you can see, that's his right hand standing reach.
Very sophisticated. I'm chilly, partially torn rotator cuff here. Check this out. Left hand, pretty good range of motion, I think. Right arm, and it's not good.
You got the slow-mo cam set up. We're gonna see what his actual vertical is.
I think I'll start off and I'll just go for a 3-inch vertical.
Oh, you got at least 7. At least.
Question is, can you get double figures? This is not going to be the most impressive vertical leap you've ever seen.
Oh, ferocious. Let's review the footage, see where you smacked it at.
Oh, ferocious. Want to fix that and try it again?
Yeah, an act of terror right there. Attempt number 2, we reinforced it. It's such a powerful beast, you knocked it down.
Yeah, here we go. This ought to be it's going to be impressive. So we're going to take like a step or so. You ready, cameraman?
Cameraman is ready. You know what they say, third time's a charm.
You ready, cameraman?
Cameraman's ready. Try to walk out of frame this time.
Try to loosen up. Well, after hopping into our official replay booth and taking a second look at the footage, it appears my vertical is right around the 11-inch mark. To all my old fellows out there, how did I do? I'm really not too much impressed with it, but that is why this video exists. Anyways, that's all, folks. Get back to living long and prospering.